Hey everyone, you're watching a special episode of Ash on Comics. I'm Ash, and this is DC Previews episode 12. I thought I would try an experimental video on doing this. Try to add something new to my channel where I would go through upcoming solicits for comics. And I thought I would try it out with DC Comics because that's mostly what I read. So if I did a Marvel one, it would just be like, here's a book I don't care about. I don't care. That's not going to add much value. But here I do know some DC Comics and enjoy some DC Comics. And so there's something to talk about. And if you like DC Comics, you might find this somewhat valuable. I have not read this yet, so it'll be kind of new for both of us. And we'll see how it goes. Here we have the cover of the book I'm really looking forward to. Superman Year One by Frank Miller. I'm sure it's in the book. All right, so here we have, these are all for comic shipping in June, by the way. Event, Leviathan #1. All I know is I don't care about this event because Superman is leading up to it right now. And you can watch my reviews of the Superman books with all the Leviathan Rises or whatever it's called, and it's just nonsense. Nothing is happening. I don't care. I'm going through Metal right now. When I got back into comics, Metal was just winding down. I think it was like issue 5 was out. And I was like, I don't want to go back and try to find all these books and stuff. Like, I didn't know shit about DC. I was like, I'm just going to start with the Rebirth books and just read, go back and get the trade paperbacks and learn. Because I didn't know very much about DC. I just knew kind of Superman and Batman. So I was like, I'm going to learn about Green Lantern. I'm going to learn about these other characters. And I'm still, fast forward a year later or whatever, I'm still learning about a lot of these characters. DC is a really, really deep well. And it's really cool if you're a fan because, I still have lots more to learn and that's exciting. But it's also daunting because you're just like, oh my gosh, there's so much continuity and things to learn. And I talk with other DC fans who've been reading for 30, 40 years, and they're just like, oh, you stupid noob, like, you don't know anything. And I'm just like, well, sorry, you've been reading for 30, 40 years. So right now, I don't give a crap about this. This is what I do care about. Frank Miller. A lot of people say Frank Miller's washed up. Maybe. I don't care. This guy is a legend to me. He is right up there. I hold him personally right up there, like with Stan Lee. I think he's a better writer than Stan Lee, but Stan Lee was a better face of comics. Stan Lee gave us so much more than just some stories. Stan Lee gave us ideas. He gave us purpose. That by saying the comics. He shaped what comics should be. Anyway, Stan Lee's a legend. So there will never be another Stan Lee. But Frank Miller, when it comes to just pure like writing talent, is on my Mount Rushmore. And some people would go roll their eyes, whatever. But there was a time in the 80s and 90s, Frank Miller was untouchable. Nowadays, it's like people kind of forget, and there's new hotness. But he's old. He's tired. He's weathered. I think he's kind of destroyed himself through alcoholism. That's what I've heard, at least. I don't know much about his personal life. You can definitely see him when you see him in person that he's things have taken a toll on him, and I'm sure his brain and things. He's not in his prime. But I've told someone else this: Frank Miller at 25% is still better than most of the industry today. And there's this thing about Frank Miller is that he gets comics. The guy is a student of comics, a scholar of comics. He studied comics for years and years growing up and just learned everything he could. He mentored under Neil Adams. He understands these characters better than most. And a lot of people will say the opposite. They'll be like, Frank Miller doesn't understand this and he messed this up. No. Frank Miller shapes our ideas of characters because he actually does understand them. And some people are worried about, how's he going to do Superman? He's not going to be, Superman's not supposed to be dark and gritty, and he's not going to be dark and gritty. Frank Miller understands Superman. Just because he writes dark and gritty Batman or whatever, that's because that's Batman, and he tends to just write those characters. He writes Daredevil. His Sin City books, they're all for that. Frank Miller is very much a fan of old school noir detective Sam Spades, that sort of feel. So he writes those sort of things. But when he writes, he's also a caretaker of comics. He's not going to screw up. He respects Superman, and he's always wanted to do a Superman story. So whether or not this lives up, it's not going to be Batman Year One, I'm sure. But it should be a good Superman story. And I tell you what, no one writes manly, high testosterone, gravitas characters and stuff like Frank Miller. So I'm really looking forward to this. I do like John Romita Jr. a lot, but I agree with other people who said he's not really great for Superman. I agree. I wish they would have gotten a different artist. But I am presuming that Frank and John are like good friends and they work well together. So I will be getting the Frank Miller covers. Harley Quinn Breaking Glass. I do not like these new things that DC is doing with these like young adult graphic novel things, and that's what this looks like. It kind of is. I don't know if it is. I think Harley Quinn is one of the worst characters ever created. When I say that, I mean version 2.0 of Harley Quinn, the current one we have. The Paul Dini animated Harley Quinn was fine as a really great villain character, but the Harley Quinn that's now this sort of like pseudo wannabe hero. I mean, they're writing her now for little girls, and this is supposed to be all cutesy, and this is a mass murdering psychotic bitch. She has a baseball bat that she probably is going to bludgeon someone to death with. What are we doing in comics? And Mariko Tamaki is a New York Times bestselling author. She's horrendous. Go back to Marvel, where you can just write shitty X-23 books. Superman of Smallville. Hey, look, more. Let's aim at the... No one cares. Okay. Oh, look, Event Leviathan. I'll probably be getting this because I just happened to buy Superman because I can't stop. Because Superman is my favorite... It's probably my favorite superhero character of all time. And it's definitely like my favorite DC. So it sucks that Bendis is doing it, but I keep buying it, hoping that he'll get off the title, and then I won't have to. I hate, as I'm a collector and I don't like missing back issues. Adventures of the Super Sons is winding down. It's going to be a really sad day when that hits 12, because that will be the end of Jonathan Kent. And this guy, Bendis, killed him. So, American Carnage, whatever. Aquaman, Kelly Sue DeConnick is ruining this. So, it's sad because I put a really good artist on the book. And look at this. Look at that alt cover. That's fantastic. I love that. And she's ruining the book, and they got this great artist. So I'm not going to buy it. I hope no one else will buy it, because we need to have sales tank so DC doesn't put bad people on books. Speaking of bad people on books, Marguerite Scott doing Batgirl. I don't care. Really, dogs? Batman Beyond 33. Sergeant Bats and a couple other people I know really like this book. Dan Jurgens is writing it. So I think it's probably going to continue to be a solid book. It's not my cup of tea, but good for it. Tom King, I don't know what's happening to this guy. I think he's a great writer. He has the ability. He's written one of my favorite Batman stories. And then he's just, I don't know he's just descending into madness. I don't know what's going on. But he's, I don't know. So Batman 72 and 73. Batman and the Outsiders. I've been waiting a long time for this. Brian Hill wrote great Detective Comics run. I don't really like the whole Batman family thing, and this feels like Batman Family 2.0. But I like Brian Hill. Dexter Soy is okay, a little overrated in my book, but in today's day and age, he's certainly good enough. I'll be picking this up. I love Batman. I love Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I like James Tynion the Fourth. I don't really like miniseries. I don't think I'll pick this up. Maybe I'll borrow it. I am really curious. I mean, I missed the first two. I don't know. Batman Who Laughs, number 6. I've been buying this, but because I'm behind on the metal, I haven't been reading it. I just trust Scott Snyder, and I really love the metal stuff, so I'm just going to buy it and read it later. I'll keep buying this. Books of Magic. I lost interest in this when they announced that they were shelving the original continuity of Books of Magic, which I did buy back in the 90s. And then it's like, oh, we're shelving that. shelving that and we're going to do it new. Well, of course you are. Of course you are, because you have to rebrand it and SJWify it. So screw that book. Catwoman 12. Joelle Jones, fantastic artist. I have no interest in Catwoman as a ongoing series. I think she's a fantastic side character. Deceased 2. This event is coming out. Look, it's DC Zombies. You missed the boat. What? Really? Marvel already did this. And it's Tom Taylor. Enough said. Don't buy this book. Deathstroke is the book that I regret not buying every month, because I keep hearing how amazing it is, and I just don't feel like I can get on a jump on point, but I might. I bought the trade for the first trade for Deathstroke. I want to get into the character a little bit. I should actually be in it. This is like kind of character that's right up my alley. In fact, when I was young, back in the 80s and 90s, I designed my own superheroes and things like that. I designed a character that was very much like Deathstroke without knowing who Deathstroke was. I wasn't copying it. This kind of character is very much my cup of tea. I don't know why I don't read it. Dial H for Hero, I just did a review on the #1 issue of this. This book is a joke. I don't know who this book is for. Detective Comics one. Yes, one of my top looking books. Peter Tomasi is amazing. I'm whatever he's doing, I don't know, but I will be buying it. Dreaming, whatever. Anything that's Vertigo. Andy Curry is the head editor of Vertigo. The dude is seriously, he is using this as a personal soapbox to push a hard left identitarian agenda. He's not trying to produce good books at all, and there's a lot that can be said. I'm not going to talk about in this video, but I don't care what they're producing. He's not out to make good books. He's out to anyways, you get the point. Female Fairies, I've done a couple reviews of this book. Holy shit. They do not hide the feminism at all. It's front and center. It is blatant. You cannot believe. Watch reviews of this book. I've done some reviews. You will not believe how brazenly, militantly feminist this book is. Flash 72. Joshua Williamson. Sorry, he's getting a dry throat here. I need to read Flash. I buy this for my friend's little girl who likes Flash. But I've recently discovered that I like Joshua Williamson because he writes this comic and image called Birthright, which is awesome. And I realize how good of a writer he is. And I'm like, why? This is the same guy. I should be reading this. So I've got the books. I can read them. I just need to find a time where I can catch up my other books and then do this. But I'm very excited because they're also doing Flash Year 1, starting at issue 72. And bravo, not only do I like Year 1 stories, this is a great jumping on point for new readers, but they're not making it a separate miniseries. It's Flash 72. Just like the old original Batman Year 1 just took place in Batman Comics. I think it was like issue 406 or something, if I remember right. Just boom, just put it in the middle of the storyline. That's how it should be. That's how it should be. Bravo, DC. Green Lantern, Green Arrow. I have not read any of the new Grant Morrison run. Grant Morrison is really hit or miss. I am buying it just because I'm like, oh, you got me invested in Green Lantern. Harley Quinn. Oh my God, no. Sam Humphries writing Dial H for Heroes. Ugh. This character is bullshit. This is the most god awful character. This character is worse than Riri Williams. You pick America Chavez. Is worse than Carol Danvers. This is the worst comic character out there in her current incarnation. Hawkman 13 is the best comic on the shelves. Holy shit, Robert Venditti. Applaud. You've taken a character that I used to mock and make fun of and think was stupid, and you turned it into the best comic. I look forward to this book week or month after month. It is fantastic. It's still low runs. Buy this book. I cannot emphasize it enough. Go back, get the back issues before everyone else realizes what, this book. Or if you don't really want to do that, at least get the trade. First 7 issues are fantastic. They retell the origin of Hawkman, but they do this really interesting thing where it's like they don't reboot him. The new origin overlays with previous origins. They work together. Oh, it's brilliant. It's Vertigo. Justice League Dark 12. Cool. Justice League 25. Year of the Villain. Oh, it's DC's big event. Whatever. I'm not invested. Martian Manhunter I'm doing reviews of. This is a very polarizing book. Most people can't stand it because of the art, but Steve Orlando is crafting a really, really good origin story that is a detective story. And it makes me go, wow, you could probably handle Batman. Maybe if Tom King, you might be a replacement for Tom King. Naomi number 6. As much as I want to hate this book, as much as this book shouldn't exist, Jamal Campbell's art. This is a new superstar artist. His art is fantastic. I've been doing reviews on this. Each issue has been getting better and better. Issue 3 was pretty darn good for what it was. Like, it surprised me. Nightwing 61, I've been buying this, and just because I'm curious about the whole Rick Grayson storyline. I'm actually a proponent of the whole shot in the head. I like that. I want to see a change in Dick Grayson. I don't want to see his name change. He needs to be called Dick Grayson. But I want to see a change in the character. I know some fans balking at that, and there's like, no, why are you messing with our character? It's like, but that character's not doing anything. He's just a vigilante running around Bloodhaven forever. You know, allow for something new and creative to be done with the character. I don't think that he needs to be so. Batman is iconic, right? So you can't really mess with that. Superman's iconic. Nightwing is not iconic. He's got room to still craft new ideas into, and this is something interesting for me. And I'm curious now that Dan Jurgens is on the title, what they're going to do with it. So, Pearl number 10, what a joke. Photo tracing with Brian Michael Bendis, who's writing 10 books a month. These books don't even sell 10,000 copies. No one cares. I certainly don't. Red Hood Outlaw. I keep reading this. I haven't been reading it for the Outlaw, but the Red Hood and the Outlaws. I keep hoping the Outlaws will return. The Dark Trinity concept with Red Hood was brilliant in my opinion. Red Hood is a sort of dark version of Batman, right? And you had Bizarro, dark version of Superman, and you had Artemis, dark version. It was just right, because you don't really. Trinity doesn't work so well as an ongoing book, but this one did. And then they killed it because DC doesn't like good things. They're like, oh, we got something good? Let's screw it all up. Scooby-Doo, where are you? Whatever. Shazam. People love Shazam. I love Jeff Johns. Dale Eaglesham is a raging SJW asshole, so I won't buy your book. I mean, Shazam's admittedly not my bag. I really wish Jeff Johns was doing, well, he is doing Doomsday Clock, but if you're going to do a monthly book, Jeff, God, I wish it was a character that needs you. Silencer, written by Dan Abnett. They're canceling it. Admittedly, this isn't even my favorite New Age books, but like, look at this cool cover. Why? We're getting Dial H for Hero instead of this. They're canceling this and giving us. I'm so mad. Supergirl, people are liking this book. I do not like the concept of Supergirl, so it interferes with my ability to like the book. But I don't begrudge anyone else for liking it, and I'm not going to read this bullshit right here. This new Bendis John is what I'm going to call him. I fucking hate it. So Superman. Oh my gosh, are they actually going to have Rogol Zarg finally? Who knows? Teen Titans. I don't like kid hero characters. Kids that are not even old enough to drive cars, but they can run around with superpowers and blow shit up. Dumb. Terrifics is the only one that's not getting canceled so far. And of course, it's the only one that I don't buy. it figures that I would go and invest in all these different books, and then DC would cancel. And the one that I didn't is the one that keeps going. And now I don't want to have to invest in this book. It's so annoying. Wildstorm 24. Here's a book that I didn't jump into. I wish I was reading it, but when I came into comics, it was already ongoing, and I didn't want to go backtrack. And it's a limited series, so I feel like collecting it's kind of pointless. This is why I shouldn't do limited series. You give me no reason to want to invest. If this was an ongoing series, I would have jumped in on issue 12, and I would have started reading it, and I would have backfilled my issues, and I would have, because I really love the Wildstorm universe. Warren Ellis, good writer. But I was like, well, so what's the point? This is just a miniseries. So DC doesn't get that. Wonder Twins, who is this for? No one wants Wonder Twins. No, stupid. This is, and people go, no, Ash, that's not true. Yeah, the SJWs will say they want this because they love the cutesy pie. Oh, look at everything's so random humor. Look, shape of a shark. They just like the idea of it, but they're not going to buy it. They're going to just pirate these if they read them at all, and it's not going to sell. And Mark Russell is a raging SJW asshole. Wonder Woman 72, speaking of raging SJW, they put G. Willow Wilson, but look, just like with Aquaman, they take a good writer off and put this SJW writers on to scare away readers, but then they put the fantastic arts on it. So it's like, oh, look, you're missing, keep Wonder Woman's great art. Look at this. You want to get it. So that G. Willow Wilson, what they're trying to do is it's like they're giving crutches for these writers. Because if they just put half-ass artists like the good writers have to get, they wouldn't sell books. But, they want to prove that, oh, look, people do want G. Willow Wilson. No, they want Wonder Woman, and the art's good, and they're buying it for the same reason I'm buying Superman, because they love this character, and they're hoping that she'll get fired. Unfortunately, she won't get fired, because guess what? There's a whole agenda. But this is weird. Steve Orlando's writing Wonder Woman 73. Oh. With not as good of an artist. Oh, go figure. Young Justice. This is a terrible book. I roast this every month. This is a joke. Let's see. Try to wrap this up as fast as I can. This is a long thing. Animal Man, Jeff Lemire, Omnibus. Okay, these are all the trades and so forth. So these are not as important. You've seen them. Wow, look at this. Crisis on Infinite Earths box set. Holy moly. $500? Blah! Oh my God. Who's spending that? Here's a Flashpoint box set. This is kind of cool. $100. Get some caught up on some old stuff, I guess. None of this is interesting me. Oh, look, here's Tom King's Mr. Miracle. Oh, hardcover White Knight. Exclusively to Diamond accounts. Oh, that's something to have in your collection. Oh, this would be kind of cool too. Frank Miller, Batman, Dark Knight Returns statue. I'm not even really a statue person. So yeah, statues are kind of cool. I'm not a big tchotchke person. Some interesting T-shirts. Batman Who Laughs T-shirts, kind of neat. All right, next preview.